Hey, what's up guys? In this video I got a special treat. I'm going to be taking out the 2023 Kawasaki ZX-4rr for a first ride. So let's jump into it. Alright everybody, we are aboard the 2023 Kawasaki ZX-4rr. This is a first ride on road. We're going to take this also on the highway to get first impressions on this brand new motorcycle from Kawasaki. So for those of you that don't know, the Kawasaki ZX-4rr is brand new for 2023 and it is a completely new motorcycle. It has a inline 4-cylinder 399 cc motor that produces 80 horsepower. And some of you might say, oh, 80 horsepower, big deal. It is a big deal when you compare it to what else is out there in the 400 market. So this motorcycle making 80 horsepower at 400 cc's completely blows out all the other 400s that are out there on the market. The closest comparable is the Kawasaki Ninja 400, which has been around since 2018. It has a parallel twin 399cc motor and it makes 50 horsepower, 50. So this is a 30 horsepower increase over the Ninja 400. Another comparable would be the KTM RC390 or the Duke 390. Both of those bikes make 42 horsepower. So you're talking, you know, nearly double the horsepower of the KTM RC390 and 30 horsepower more than the Ninja 400. This thing just destroys the 400 market, without a doubt. This is also a really cool bike because back in the 2000s, all the Japanese manufacturers made 400cc inline 4-cylinder bikes. Suzuki made a GSX-R 400, Honda made a CBR 400, and I believe Kawasaki made a 400cc inline 4-cylinder as well. But a lot of those bikes, or all of those bikes, didn't make it to the US market. They were only available in Asia, and so occasionally you would see these importers that would bring in gray market bikes from Asia 25 years later, once they were legal to be imported, to the United States, and you'd see them at these specialty shops or at bike nights, and they were really cool. They were an inline 4-cylinder 400, but unfortunately, since they were so old, you didn't really feel confident that you could wring its neck and really get all the power out of the motorcycle when you rode it. It felt like you were riding around on some sort of collector piece, some antique, and so those bikes were kind of ancient. This is fully decked out with all of the modern technology that you would find on a super premium Japanese sport bike. So you've got a full color LCD display that allows you to toggle between 4 different rider maps, including rain, sport, and race mode. And then finally there is a fully programmable map as well. So there's 4 different rider modes you can switch between. Also, this bike has an electronic quick shifter for both up and down shifts. It's got traction control and an ABS system. So all the 4 big electronic rider aids that you would really want out of a modern sport bike you get on this 400, which is super cool. You also have the ability to pair your phone to the motorcycle. It's got a Kawasaki app you can download and a Bluetooth connection to the bike so that you can view all of your rider settings on your phone. So immediately after getting on this, I can tell you that the 400 motor, the inline 400, is so buttery smooth that it's just feels like you're riding an electric motorcycle essentially. Like the power delivery is just so smooth. Most motorcycles, you've got engine feel, especially on a Ninja 400. It's got a lot of gruntiness and torque, especially in the low RPMs from that parallel twin 400. And you know, other bikes like the KTM Duke 390 or RC 390, that has a big single cylinder, so they call that one a thumper because it has a ton of engine feel. Where this one, the engine feel from the inline 4-cylinder is almost non-existent. It's just really smooth. So I'm going to answer a series of questions that I think a lot of people are going to have about the ZX-4rr. Question number one, what's better, Ninja 400 or ZX-4rr? That is the biggest question that I think most people are going to have about this bike, and there are good things and bad things. Good, this bike is 30 horsepower more than the Ninja 400. Good, this bike has a full color LCD display, traction control, ABS, quick shifter, and rider modes. Good, this bike has dual disc front brakes, fully adjustable suspension, and just overall has a lot better components. So those are the good. What are the bad? The bad is this bike weighs considerably more than the Ninja 400. I think it's close to 30 pounds heavier than the Ninja 400. Another bad, this bike costs $96.99 brand new from Kawasaki, where a Ninja 400 can be purchased for $52.99. So that is a major price increase when you compare it to the Ninja 400. So is it better than the Ninja 400? We're not sure. What's better, a ZX-4rr or a Kawasaki ZX-6rr? Well, they are very comparable. They're both inline 4-cylinders. They have a similar price point. This one is $96.99, where a new ZX-6rr is close to $12,000. This bike makes 80 horsepower, where the ZX-6rr makes 130 horsepower. So the weight difference between this and the ZX-6rr is also about 10 pounds. That's a hard one. It's really difficult to say whether or not the ZX-4rr is a slow ZX-6rr or is it a fast Ninja 400. It definitely falls somewhere in the middle, but I feel like it's leaning more towards being a ZX-6rr. Jury's out on that one too. One thing that is really interesting about this bike when you first get on it is the tire profile. So this bike uses a 120/17 front wheel, which is standard on any 600 or 1000cc sport bike, and it uses a 160 rear tire, where a 600 would normally have a 180 rear tire, and that makes the bike tip into corners really effortlessly and makes it feel lighter, even if the bike itself doesn't weigh lighter. It just gives it a sense of flickability, quick maneuvering. It also reduces the contact patch on the rear compared to a 180, so you don't have as much grip, especially under hard acceleration. But does it need it when you only have 80 horsepower? Kawasaki didn't think so, and as far as I can tell, it feels like it's got a really adequate amount of grip with this 160 rear tire. This bike only has 350 miles. It was purchased just 2 days ago from the local Kawasaki dealer, so I am not going to be revving it to the moon in this video, but hopefully in the near future we're going to be doing an on-track review of this exact motorcycle, so be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you subscribe to see that video right when it comes out. When comparing this to a Ninja 400, this just feels way more premium. Like every touch point on this bike, everything that you're looking at feels much nicer. You've got a full color LCD display instead of the black and white display that's on the Ninja 400. You've got fully adjustable clutch and brake levers. You've got a whole another level of controls on the left hand side. You've got a lap timer, this up and down selector to switch your different modes on the screen, and the handlebars seem a little bit sturdier. They also seem like they're turned out quite a bit compared to the Ninja 400, and it feels like it's in a little bit more of a racy riding position. The tank seems a little bit narrower, and frankly it feels a little bit smaller than the Ninja 400. Your suspension, this is the Showa big piston fork, something you'll find on a lot of super sport bikes ranging from Japanese 600s all the way to the Ducati Panigale V2, Street Fighter V2. So it's a great set of suspension that feels a lot stiffer than what you find on the Ninja 400. So yeah, it is just feels like a super premium Ninja 400, to be honest. Alright, now that we have had a chance to ride it around on the street a little bit, we're going to jump on the freeway to do a little bit of a freeway test on this 2023 Kawasaki ZX-4rr. They call inline inline four-cylinder screamers because they have really high rev limits. This bike is no exception. It revs to 16,000 RPM, and since it's a 400cc motor, revving this thing to 16,000 RPM means that you're doing speeds that are a lot lower than you would do on a 600 or 1000. So this bike is the epitome of a screamer motorcycle, which makes it super fun to ride around town. There's a nice intake howl on this bike too. It is not an overwhelming, honking noise, but it is a decent level of intake noise on it. We're going to take this on a nice 270-degree on-ramp just to get a feel for how this bike feels leaned over. Something of note too about the ZX-4rr when you compare it to the Ninja 400, this bike has a ram air system, meaning there is a big air inlet in the front of the bike. With this ram air, you are able to get forced air into your airbox and into your engine, which Kawasaki claims gives this bike an additional 2 horsepower, and I don't doubt it. Ram air does play a big part in allowing your engine to breathe. So let's jump on this outside lane here, give these tires a little bit of a scrub. The bike feels great leaned over. It's got a 160 rear tire, which makes it really easy to kind of dip in like this. 0 to 60 ZX-4rr, let's go. We're in the F mode, so that's the full horsepower map. Let's do just a quick freeway pull. We'll drop it down to 3rd gear. God, that sounds so cool. That intake noise coming through the airbox, that ram air noise, and the engine sound and the exhaust note. It sounds really novel too. It's different than any other inline 4-cylinder. It's super unique in that way, and I love it. I've got to say the brakes on this bike are way better than that on the Ninja 400. I feel that the brakes on the Ninja 400 are great. I don't think that they are a shortcoming of that bike whatsoever. I think that the brakes on this bike might actually be a little bit of an overkill, having dual disc front brakes makes stopping this thing like a 2-finger stopping situation. Tremendous amount of stopping power. Final walk around impressions of the 2023 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-4rr. I think this bike is super fun as a street bike. It has such a novel experience riding it because of the inline 4-cylinder 400. You don't find that on any other motorcycle. You get really high revving performance like you do out of an inline 4-cylinder 600, but it makes all that power at speeds that are usable around town. It's really a practical sport bike in that sense. It also feels like a super premium sport bike because of the hand controls, your dash, all your different electronic modes, and electronic quick shifter, traction control, ABS. It feels super premium. Where does it sit between a Ninja 400 and a ZX-6rr? I think it's really its own thing. It feels like a Ninja 400 on steroids power-wise, and from a feel standpoint, it feels more like a 400. But clearly the performance leans more towards that of the 600. The weight of the bike leans more towards that of the 600, and the price point leans more towards the 600, but feels like basically a Ninja 400 on steroids. I would love to see this bike reflashed with an exhaust that gets rid of this massive exhaust system. There's something like 4 catalytic converters in this exhaust, so get that all out of there, put it on a pipe that allows the engine to breathe, reflash the thing, over rev it to 18,000 RPM, and let this caged bird sing. Overall, this bike is amazing. If you have a chance to buy one of these at your local dealership, snag it up before somebody else does, because they only made 1,000 of these for the North American market this year. So if you're lucky enough to get one or to find one, snap it up. Thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. See ya.